start or run a container using a very basic Python Flask application. Don't worry about the commands and the syntaxes. I'll tell you each and everything shortly. But the purpose of this video is to show you how to create a Docker file and then create an image out of it and then run container using the image. One more thing, I have not logged into the Amazon EC2 instance where we installed our Docker library and started the Docker daemon. Instead, I'm using my local machine. I have installed Docker here. I have already started Docker daemon, and if you see, you can find out the Docker version also. So type Docker version to see the version of the Docker. So mine is 1806.1-CE, which is the community edition. So before creating the Docker file, let me show the application which I want to run in a container. This is the application. This is a very basic application, Python Flask. What I'm saying here is that I need Flask library. So I'm importing Flask from Python Flask and then doing something. And then whenever go to this path /aws-ecs, it should show me, hi there, I'm running on a machine. Don't worry too much about Python because you can use any programming language of your choice. This application would run on port number 8080. Let me show you first. I'll run this application. It is running on port number 8080. Now, if I type either 0000 or localhost, it's the same, but you have to make sure that you type 8080 port and AWS ECS. It is showing that, hi there, I'm running on a machine. That's what we're supposed to see. Let me increase the size a little bit. So this is what you see. Instead 0000, you can use localhost also because we are running it on a localhost. So it is giving you the same output. Now, what I want to do is that I want to run this exact same application in a container. So first of all, I'll have to create a Docker file so that all these things which are needed to run this application are mentioned in the file, and then we'll create an image out of it. And then when you run container, the container will execute all those commands. As this is a Python program, so we'll need Python, we'll need Flask, and that's all. In Python, all the dependencies are mentioned in something called requirements.txt. In Java, it is different. In .NET, it is different. But here, I am mentioning that what are the dependent libraries which I need to execute this program. So what I can do is I can use a Python program manager named pip or pip and pass this requirements.txt file to that Python program manager, and that program manager will install all these libraries here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create my Docker file. The first thing which I want to mention is the operating system. So if you remember the diagram, that is the base. You will need the operating system. So how do I know the name of the operating system? That's where Docker Hub comes into picture. We'll discuss this later on, but as of now, just let's go ahead and create the Docker file and see how it works. So the first command from, it mentions that there should be an image in the Docker Hub named Ubuntu. So basically it will install the Ubuntu library. If you go to Docker Hub and search for Ubuntu, so this is the library. Remember, official is actually the library which is given by Docker itself. Basically, you should use this official as much as possible. Rest all are public, created by someone else. I'll go into this Docker Hub. I'll tell you how this works after some time. But as of now, this is where that from command will download the image from. This is an image of Ubuntu operating system. If you click on details here, I'll take you the supported tags. What I mentioned there is latest. So latest is supported, or else I could have mentioned 18.04 also. So latest is well enough. And then I'm mentioning something called run. What it will do is it will run the command which I'm writing now. So if you notice, this is nothing but an Ubuntu command. It's a Debian based command which you run to install any package. What this command will do, it will copy the requirements.txt file which I have just shown you in a directory named /python-app/requirements.txt in the container. So this is actually from the host. I have this file in the host, and this directory would be created in the container and it will be copied in the file requirements.txt. And then I want to copy the program also, which is in the current directory. The name of the program is first python webpage.py, and I want to copy it to the same directory, python-app, and the name of the program would be same. Alright, now the next thing is I have to install all the dependent libraries. Without that, I cannot run the program. So what I do is pip install -r requirements.txt. Now what it will do, it will run all the packages or libraries which are mentioned in requirements.txt file. Once that is done, we have to mention a command called entry point. Now what this entry point will do, it will run the Python program. It will execute the program when the container is started. So this is the command to run the program, Python 2, first Python web page pip. So actually I'm downloading Python 2.7, that's why I'm mentioning Python 2. So you can mention just Python also. Let us go through the Dockerfile one more time, shall we? First thing being the operating system. So the operating system would be pulled from Docker Hub registry. That's what this from means. So it says that go to Docker Hub and pull this operating system image. For this, of course, you need internet access. But if you're running container in a machine which does not have internet access, you can use private repositories also. That's where Amazon ECR or Elastic Container Registry will come into picture. But as of now, we have internet connectivity and we'll go to Docker Hub and pull this operating system. And this is the operating system I'm talking about, Ubuntu official. And this image is actually provided by Docker itself. So that image, the operating system image, will be pulled in the container itself. And after that, it will run something in the container. What it will run these commands: apt-get install -y python and python pip. This is the program runtime. I need Python for my program to get executed, and I need pip to install the dependent libraries. And the next command is copy. So what it is doing is it is copying the requirements.txt file from my current directory, wherever this Docker file is, to a directory /python-app, and in the file requirements.txt in the container. So this is the local location and this is the destination in the container. So /python-app might not be there, it will be created. Same is the case here also. Remember one more thing, I have given /requirements.txt. That means it will search the current directory where the Docker file is. Okay, then the run command, which will actually run one more Linux command, which is pip install -r requirements.txt. It is actually a Python command. Pip is Python's package manager. What it is doing is it is reading the requirements.txt file and will install all the libraries in the container itself, because this command is being executed in the container, will be executed in the container. To take a look back, these are the libraries which are needed for the Python Flask application to be up and running. And then finally the entry point, which will actually run these two. This is the program and this is the argument. So it will run the Python program, and the name of the program is first-python-webpage.py, which you have already copied. I have missed a very important thing, which is work_dir. Work_dir will go to this particular directory /python-app. It is actually doing a cd to that directory in the container. So that's what we are saying. This is my working directory. When the container is run, it will do a cd to this directory and then it will run this command pip install -r requirements.txt. So the Docker file is done. Let us go ahead and build the image. To build the image, you have to go to the same directory where Dockerfile is. So I am in the directory where Dockerfile has been put, and if I do an ls-lhtr, so if you see, I have requirements.txt, I have Dockerfile, I have the program first python webpage.py. If I open the Dockerfile, this is the same file which I was showing you in the editor. Now this file is this one in the present working directory, and it will be copied to this directory and this file in the container. And same is the case with this first python webpage.py. This is also here, first python webpage.py. It will be copied to this directory in the container and to this file. And then I'm saying whenever we run the container, do a cd to this /python-app, because that's where all my files are. I have my requirements.txt, I have my Python program in this directory. So work_dir is actually saying that do a cd to this directory and then run pip install -r requirements.txt. As in the container, I'm in this directory which already has requirements.txt. I'm running the pip package manager installer of Python to install all the dependent libraries of Python. And finally, I'm running the command which will run all the time whenever the container is run. Okay, so now I'll have to create a Docker image from this. So image would be the executable, and after creating the image, I'll run a container. So the command is docker build -t, which is actually the tag. Let's say aws-ecs and run it, get the file from current directory. That's what I'm mentioning here. So the reason I'm mentioning current directory because my Docker file is here. If my Docker file had been somewhere else, I would have had to mention the absolute path using -f command. But I'm not doing so. I'm saying I have done a cd to this directory where Docker file is, and then I'm running this command. So now if you see this first step, when it is pulling the Ubuntu library from Docker Hub. Okay, it is getting some error, unable to locate package Python. That's okay. That's a Dockerfile issue because it was not able to get the Python package. So I had to add two more commands. One is apt-get update y, because if you do not update Ubuntu, it will not get the Python deb package. And also I forgot to expose port 8080. What this command does is from container, it will expose a port on which this program would be running. So whatever program you mention, that program would be running only on this port. Now after that, after you make the changes, it will first update the library. It will pull the Ubuntu package. It'll take some time. I'll pause the video and come back. Okay, so all the commands have been run. Let me go through it a little bit as far as I can go. This is the copy step, which is actually copying the requirements.txt file from the current directory. Then it went to the work dir, which is python/app, and then it ran this command, run pip install. All the dependencies, the Flask dependencies and everything else have been executed, and then it copied the Python web page program, and it exposed the port, and finally this is the entry point. And so the container build command is complete, and the tag is aws-ecs:\latest. If I run this command, docker image ls, it will show you all the images which are there. This is the image which I created just now, aws-ecs:\latest. I'll discuss all the this docker commands, docker image, docker run, and etc. But as I said just now, I want to show you how to run a container. Once this is done, I have the image available. So this is the image which has just been created, aws-ecs and with the tag latest. And using this image, I'll have to run the container. So let me go ahead and run the container. So run the docker command, docker run, and then mention the container name. And this is the image. And it should run this container. So if you type the docker container ls, it is saying that aws-ecs is running. This is the image, and this is the name of the container, and it is running this command, python2 and first python. Let us see whether this program runs or not. So I'll type curl localhost and aws-ecs. So it should show me this page. Hi there, I'm running on a machine. Now let me try to run it from browser. So localhost, it's not 8080 anymore because it is running in the container, and actually it is saying, hi there, I am running on a machine. Let me close and run it again. So hi there, I'm running on a machine. Okay, so that's how a Docker image is created from Dockerfile, and how a Docker image is run on a particular host. I'll show a few other stuff like basic Docker commands, a few more things in Dockerfile. How do you use volumes, how do you use bind mounts. Those things are needed in aws-ecs. When you create an image and push it to ECR, you'll be doing the exact same way. What we have done so far, we have created a container image or Docker image from a Docker file, and we ran a container. But in this case, in case of aws-ecs, we'll create the image locally, and then we'll have to push it to aws-ecr or Elastic Container Registry. And from there, we'll create something called a task definition, which is similar to Docker run.